In this class, we are going to study about the second method of reproduction in fungi, and that is vegetative reproduction. So we have already completed the first method of reproduction in fungi, which was called as asexual reproduction. So this vegetative method that we are going to study now is also a type of asexual reproduction. So it is not necessarily a very different type of reproduction from the asexual reproduction. Many scientists include this vegetative reproduction under the category of asexual reproduction. So it is also a type of asexual reproduction, and from asexual reproduction we know that it is uniparental. So obviously this vegetative propagation will also be uniparental, that is only a single parent will be involved in this case. Now these are of 5 types, or we can say that there are 5 methods of vegetative reproduction in fungi. For example, we have fragmentation or fission, or we have this budding or sclerotia or the rhizomorphs. So these are the 5 common methods of reproduction in the kingdom fungi. So we first start from the first type, and that is the fragmentation. So before starting fragmentation, we have to remember what vegetative production or vegetative reproduction literally means. So normally when we talk about vegetative reproduction, we mean that some part of the body will break up from the parent body and then it will form a new individual. That is what is normally meant in the case of vegetative reproduction. So we are going to study about vegetative reproduction again in the kingdom plants. So there also we'll study about various structure like rhizomes or corms or stolons, runners, and various other structures that we are going to study. So those are also certain fragments or parts of the plant. So wherever we are going to study this vegetative reproduction, we have to remember that it will occur through some parts or some fragments of the parent body. So that is what is literally vegetative reproduction. So here, whatever be the 5 methods that we are going to study, all those will be a small or a large or a certain type of fragment of their parent. So that is not what is normally meant by the vegetative reproduction. Now we first start from the first one, and that is the fragmentation. So fragmentation is pretty simple. We know that the fungal body is composed of hypha, and a mass of hypha is called as mycelium. So a fungal body is normally made up of this like structure, or we can say that these are hyphae. So what happens in the case of fragmentation is that some part will break off, whatever be the part. Suppose this part breaks up from the parent, and now this part will form a new mycelium. So this fragment will form a new individual. Likewise, it could happen here. Now this fragment separates from the parent, and this fragment will form a new individual. So this is what is meant by fragmentation. So we can see the definition here. So the mycelium breaks up into several fragments. So we can see here the mycelium has broken into several fragments. Why? Because the hypha have broken into several fragments. And therefore this is one fragment, this is one fragment. We can have one more fragment over here, or we can have one more fragment over here. So 1 2 3 4 5, we have 5 or 4 fragments over here, and each of those fragments will form a new individual, or we can say a new mycelium. So this is what is happening in the case of fragmentation. So here the parent body has broken up into different parts, and all those parts are going to form a new mycelium. This is what is fragmentation. Now there must be some reason for this fragmentation. It does not happen just like that, because there must be a cause behind it, because only because of a certain reason the fragment will separate from the parent, or this fragmentation will occur. So those reasons could be that the older parts might have decayed. So we can say this part might have decayed and this part might have separated. It could also be that it might have some mechanical injury or some predation. So we know that predation occurs right from the bacteria to the animals. So some animals or some organisms could eat fungi, and because of those predation, these can eat a certain part of the fungi, and therefore some part of the fungi will be left over, and those leftover fragments will form a new mycelium. So the main reason behind this fragmentation is either decay, maybe some older parts might have decayed, therefore new fragments are giving rise to new mycelium or new fungi. Apart from that, it could also be because of predation. So some organisms might have eaten this part and left these parts. So these parts are fragments and these will form a new individual. So these are very common causes. Now the second one is the budding. So budding is very simple. Here a small protuberance or a small protrusion would occur in the parent cell. For example, suppose this is a parent cell, and here a small protrusion would occur, something like this. Now this will grow, this protrusion will later grow and form like something like this. Now it will later grow and form something like this, and ultimately this will separate. So this is a bud and this is the parent. Now this bud will separate from the parent and form a new individual. So what will happen? This bud has separated from the parent and it forms a new mycelium. So it forms a new body, or we can say new mycelium. So the bud initially develops as a small protrusion, and that protrusion grows to form a bud, and that bud separates from the parent to form a new mycelium or a new fungi or a new individual. So this is what is budding. So these were the very two common methods of vegetative reproduction in fungi. Now we come to the third, and which is the simplest one, and that is fission. So what happens in the case of fission? A parent might divide into two cells or more than two cells. So if a parent is dividing into two cells, it is called as binary fission, and if a parent is dividing into more than two cells, it is called as multiple fission. So binary fission and multiple fission both are different types of this fission. So it commonly occurs in unicellular forms. For example, you must have studied about a fungi which is called as yeast, which is used in brewery and bakery industry. So that yeast is also a unicellular form. So that single cell divides into two cells, which is called as binary fission, or a single cell could divide into multiple cells, which is called as multiple fission. So that is what is fission. So these were the three methods. Now the fourth and the fifth method are very similar, but they have something different in them. So the fourth method is the sclerotia. So in this method, a certain compact mass of fungi is formed, and these could be subterranean very often. So they are perennating bodies formed to survive unfavorable conditions. So obviously unfavorable conditions means that there could be lack of water, or lack of food, or lack of certain amount of temperature. For example, we know that fungi grow best in warm conditions. So if the temperature is very low, the fungi cannot grow well. So those conditions could be unfavorable, and these are perennating bodies. So these will help in survival for a long time, because that is the function of perennating structure. So these are perennating bodies formed to survive unfavorable conditions. They are formed of compact mass of hypha. This is the important point. They are formed of very compact mass of hypha. Now these hypha are surrounded by a thick covering. For example, if we see the structure of a sclerotia, it is something like this. So it is the outer covering that is called as thick covering, and inside it there could be various compact masses of the hypha. So it is the outer thick covering and inner we have these hyphae. So these hyphae are very compactly arranged. So these are not very free, like here we have seen that hyphae is very free or it is spread over, but in the case of sclerotia the hyphae are very compacted in a small space, and this whole structure with a thick covering is known as sclerotia. So these can survive in very unfavorable conditions, and these are perennitating structure. Now these could be above the ground or below the ground. So when these are below the ground, it is called as subterranean. So the meaning of subterranean is below the ground. So subterranean means below ground. So normally it is found above the ground, but many a times it is also found below the ground, and that is called as subterranean. And now we have seen the structure of this hypha, or we can say this compact mass of hypha. Now a very similar structure but a different shape is found in the case of rhizomorphs. Now these are also perennitating structure. Similarly, these were also the perennatating structure, so these can help in survival. Now these are also formed in unfavorable conditions. So we had seen the sclerotia were formed in unfavorable conditions, and these are also formed during unfavorable conditions, but the difference is in the shape. So we'll later see what is the shape of this. So these are rope like, very much twisted, or we can say these are like cords. So cords are really thick ropes or thick thread like structures, or these are root like structures. So these have a very specific point of growth. These structure, that is the rhizomorphs, cannot grow just like that. So we can see that the hypha from everywhere it can grow, but in the case of these rhizomorphs there is a specific point of growth. The growth cannot occur from anywhere or everywhere. So this is the difference between this sclerotia and this. So these are formed during scarcity of food and water. So it is obvious that these are formed during unfavorable conditions. So these have very well defined apical growing point. So we'll see that with the help of a diagram. Apical growing point. So these rhizomorphs are something like this. And inside it are the hyphal cells. So it looks like a root, that is why it is called as, or we can see here, root like subterranean masses. Subterranean means below the ground, and it looks like a root, and this is the point of growth. This is the point of growth. So these were the various structures which were helping in the vegetative reproduction in the case of fungi. So these last one, that is the rhizomorphs, so these are normally found below the ground, or we can say subterranean. But just above this we have studied about sclerotia. So the sclerotia could also be found above the ground or below the ground, but the rhizomorphs are normally found below the ground. So these are normally subterranean. Now the similarity is that both are perennating structure, both are formed during unfavorable conditions, but we have seen the difference in shapes. We just saw that the sclerotia were compact masses of hypha, but these are twisted masses of hypha. These are long and twisted masses of hypha which are cord-like, root-like, or we can also say that these are rope-like twisted structures of hypha, and the sclerotia were compacted mass of hypha. So the sclerotia and the rhizomorphs, these are similar, but different in the shape and a few properties like subterranean or above the ground. And obviously this binary fission or the multiple fission is the most common method. Everywhere fission is very much similar or very much common in the case of unicellular organisms. And above that we had studied about budding and fragmentation, so we have studied that process in kingdom Monera also. So in bacteria also these methods were occurring, that is budding or the fragmentation. So these were the 5 methods of vegetative propagation in fungi. So now we have completed the asexual reproduction and also the vegetative reproduction, and now we are going to study about the sexual reproduction in fungi.